Hi, it's Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com, dwyerboxinggame.com. Remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. Today is July the 26th. Let's talk about some boxing stories that I think you might want to keep an eye on. Everyone's talking about this alleged Twitter war that's taking place right now, apparently, between Oscar de la Hoya and 50 Cent. Right? Oscar wrote, "Everyone wanting to be a boxing promoter, good luck. Easier said than done." To which 50 Cent responded, "I don't gamble. Floyd do. But I bet you won't be promoting Floyd Mayweather no more. TMT Promotions." Now, let me just say, this is a brilliant marketing ploy by the various camps. Really doesn't matter for the elite fights. In other words, I don't believe the boxing public decides whether to see elite names based on who the promoter is. Right? A Floyd Mayweather fight, a Miguel Cotto fight, a Saul Alvarez fight, they're going to sell based on the big names and reputations of the guys involved. Right? Let me also say, too, that understand all three of those guys have their own promotional company. Now, just like we say politics makes strange bedfellows, so too does boxing. The fact that, Floyd Mayweather is a free agent with his own promotional company, Miguel Cotto is a free agent with his own promotional company, won't prevent them from arranging a fight, right? Nor will it keep them from fighting Saul Alvarez, right? Who is signed with Golden Boy, but who also has his own promotional company. Understand the fact that Oscar and 50 Cent both follow each other on Twitter tells you all you need to know. The big players, they all know each other. The big fights, when the public is willing to throw millions of dollars at a fight, they happen. Right? What I will say, though, is that you need to keep track of the promoters when it comes to unknown names, contenders who you may not have known about. Because, of course, it's the promoters who are then able to package fight cards that have those emerging stars on their undercard. Right? Also, understand, too, that boxing is moving toward a Hollywood type of model. The other day I was watching Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, and I saw that it was produced by, Tom Cruise. Well, the bottom line is that the stars now in boxing have enough clout where they can contract out to the promotional group of their choice. Golden Boy doesn't hire Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather contracts out a portion of a promotion to Golden Boy, right? Certain logistics, there's certain parts of the promotion, press conferences, tours, media relations, that the stars now, the boxing equivalent of Tom Cruise, are able to hire people to do, right? And so don't be confused. The big fights will be made. Miguel Cotto, Saul Alvarez, Floyd Mayweather, they know what they mean to the public in terms of market value. And Cotto and Mayweather already fought. That fight pulled in 1.5 million pay-per-views. I'm sure both men are acutely aware that there would be huge market value for a rematch, right? I don't think 50 Cent and Oscar de la Hoya are doing anything other than laughing all the way to the bank with the banter on Twitter. The fact that we're talking about it shows you how brilliant they are in terms of marketing the sport. Okay, let's talk about some other boxing stories that you need to keep an eye on. The other shoe has dropped for Antonio Tarver. NBC stunningly announced that they are dropping Tarver from their boxing coverage on the upcoming London Olympics. Now that's a stunner for a host of reasons. Now keep in mind, they're dropping Tarver after, of course, Tarver failed the A sample of his drug test administered either immediately before or after his fight against Latif Coyote. There are conflicting reports there. We're still waiting for the B sample. Right now, NBC's decision to drop Tarver, and it's politically sensitive because, of course, the Olympics has a drug testing protocol, is surprising for a host of reasons. The first is that Tarver is an excellent analyst on Showtime. Right? He's good at what he does. They could have used his voice on the NBC telecast. Not only that, Tarver, of course, has a big-time professional pedigree. He's a multiple champion. I believe he's a surefire future Hall of Famer. He's beaten men like Roy Jones and Glenn Johnson, of course, when they were closer to their primes than they are now. Right? And so, and of course, he's fought Bernard Hopkins. He fought Chad Dawson. He's still relevant. He recently beat Danny Green. He currently has one of the cruiserweight belts. In other words, he's a boxing A-lister who can talk about stories from the Roy Jones era and from the current era. Also, it's additionally surprising because Tarver himself is a member of the Olympic family. Understand, he was on the 1996 U.S. Olympic team. He, in fact, won the bronze medal in the 1996 Olympics. And so this really is a stunner. It shows you just what the fallout is from one positive drug test, right? And keep in mind, too, it's really surprising since, of course, the drug test results haven't yet been deemed conclusive because he hasn't yet been, he hasn't yet failed the B sample of the test. Okay, so keep an eye on that story. Tarver, unfortunately, seems to have fallen out of the news. He hasn't been on recent Showtime telecasts either. Right, just food for thought. Also, some other news. Jean Pascal, Tavares Cloud, a fight I was looking forward to. That fight is off for now. Jean Pascal apparently injured his right hand, right? And so that fight has been pushed off into the distance. The entire card is in jeopardy because, of course, the fight was going to be in Canada, and Pascal was really the big draw on the card. I think that's a fight you need to keep track of when it does happen. We'll talk about it here, right? I'm actually leaning right now, July 26, 2012, toward the underdog in that fight, Tavares Cloud. I'll talk about why. I'll agree that Pascal does have a chance at a knockout, and I would hedge the play, as I hedge everything. I would take the underdog to win, hedged against Pascal by KO. Keep in mind, of course, it's high risk because the fight would be in Pascal's backyard. But understand that that fight is off. It's thrown the light heavyweight division in a little bit of a tizzy, as you can imagine. Also, Steve Cunningham, after getting stopped by Yohan Hernandez at cruiser, is now moving up to heavyweight. He's changed promoters. He's now with Main Events. Right now, this is a story I think you need to watch because sometimes guys literally, are so weight deprived, trying to make weight, that their chin goes. People forget that Ricardo Torres decked Miguel Cotto at 140 pounds. Cotto got off the canvas, but, the point was Cotto was getting knocked down at 140 pounds. Take a look at the DeMarcus Corley-Cotto fight. As Cotto gained weight, Cotto seemed to get back at least a portion of his chin. Right? If the same happens to Steve Cunningham, understand that Cunningham is tall, works behind a jab, can literally jab you to death, right? If he's not falling down in fights like he did several times against Tomas Ademic in a fight at Cruiser, if he's able to stay on his feet and stick and move, he might be a force in the heavyweight division. You need to keep track of him because keep in mind, the heavyweight division is changing. Vitaly Klitschko is talking about retirement, right? If Klitschko fights David Haye, there's no guarantee that whoever wins that fight is going to continue fighting. David Haye already retired, came back to fight Derek Chisora. If David Haye were to beat Vitaly Klitschko, Haye might well decide that his legacy is complete, might even go further and think that he only has one other guy to fight, not so much for titles, but for personal reasons, Vladimir Klitschko, who beat him before. So there's going to be room in the heavyweight division for new faces. And my point to you is, as you think about the heavyweights out there, the Marius Walks, the Adlanir Salisis, right? Understand a mobile guy who can operate behind a jab could have some degree of success. Let me just say, though, that Cunningham is going to have to hope that the weight gain solves his chin problem, because quite frankly, his chin problem is severe, right? Let's talk about boxing economics. Now, earlier in the last installment of Boxing News, I pointed out that Nonito Donair's fight actually drew fewer than 3,000 paid viewers, right? At the fight, live gate. Well, think about the unification match that just took place between one of boxing's big names, Amir Khan, and the other champion, Danny Garcia, who had just beaten another big name, Eric Morales, right? Now, you saw the crowd. The crowd looked like it had, about 7,000 people, and you were watching on TV, and you must have thought, wow, these guys know how to pull a crowd, right? This is a big title fight. It's being televised on HBO. It's been promoted. It has a big name. Both guys have belts. 7,000 people in the stands. This is what a boxing blockbuster looks like. Well, you'll be surprised to know that 3,364 of the tickets were given away. Now, this is according to a good source, the Nevada State Athletic Commission, right? 737 tickets were unsold. In terms of tickets that were sold, only 3,147 tickets were sold for this match. Keep in mind, that's less than the 3,364 tickets that were given away. Right now, all I'm saying is, understand, this is for Khan versus Garcia. If they can't sell 3,200 tickets, you can just imagine what your local promoter doing a local boxing promotion with relatively unknown talent is doing numbers-wise, right? Let me go one step further. Amir Khan got $950,000 for the fight. Danny Garcia got $520,000 for the fight. Understand, these are champions, right? Not only that, these are champions who've already fought in high-profile fights. Garcia against Eric Morales, Khan against a host of people, right? But think about it. The live gate, according to the Nevada State Athletic Commission, was only $426,000. In other words, both guys got paid more than the gate on the fight. That should underscore two things. Number one, TV money is paramount. How many boxers are on TV? I would say just a few, right? TV money made this economically viable, because without the TV money, the gate didn't have enough money to support either of the fighters' purses. Let's go one step further. What this also tells you is that boxing promotion, while glamorous, can actually lose you a lot of money, right? This is literally like the movies. You need stars to sell the movies, right? You know, an unheralded movie could be a great movie. Without the stars, it might not generate the opening weekend box office. Well, here in boxing, it's the same thing. Even with the stars, the live gate could not support the show. You literally needed the TV money. As I said before, if you think these boxers are rolling in fat dough, you're kidding yourself. Keep in mind, too, that for his $950,000, Amir Khan got a loss. He literally was about to leave the 140-pound division, go up to 147. He would have the opportunity to start talking big. He could call out Floyd Mayweather, right? He would be able to call out Paulie Malignaggi, who he beat already. And keep in mind, Malignaggi has a belt at 147. By losing to Danny Garcia, Khan's career literally has been sidetracked for more than a year, right? Certainly, if he gains the weight now to go to 147, he doesn't have the credibility that he once did. If he sticks around at 140 to fight Garcia in a rematch, understand Garcia has multiple belts now. He might have to deal with interim opponents, mandatory challengers. As it is, he's supposed to fight Eric Morales next, right? If that fight takes place in a few months, you know, you can imagine, even if Khan is in the queue to fight Garcia, that fight won't happen until next year, right? Just food for thought. By then, Malignaggi might no longer have a title. Floyd Mayweather, who knows who he's going to fight next. So just food for thought. You know, the $950,000 came at a price. Finally, you need to be aware of the lawsuit that's been filed by Joseph Agbeko against Don King under the Muhammad Ali Boxing Reform Act, right? You haven't seen Agbeko of late. Fans should not assume that's because Agbeko is afraid to fight anyone. Actually, he's having promotional problems. He's claiming, of course, that Don King didn't fully advise him of the monies received for events. He's seeking an accounting of his last few fights. And it's unfortunate because, of course, as you know, in the weight classes where Agbeko has fought, the people Agbeko have fought, people like Abner Maris, right now are out there. There's a lot of action happening down around Bantam and Super Bantam. And, of course, Agbeko is missing out. And understand, these boxing careers don't last forever. So, food for thought. Let me know what you think. I hope we covered some stories the mainstream press really hasn't talked about. I'll try to keep bringing some stories I find interesting to you. And, of course, you can read more about these stories at DwyerBoxingGame.com and at GamblersAdvisory.com. Thanks for watching.